Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Stars. And I would like to welcome all of you to the Lightning Flash Update right here on YouTube.com. As of course you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy. And the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is the Lightning Flash Update for Friday, February 2nd, 2018. And I actually have to be completely honest with you. The build for the WrestleMania season so far, I realize it just got going straight out the gate. I realize we have 66 plus days to go. I realize that. However, from the Royal Rumble onward, the build has really not been that bad. Obviously, we all know it could be better. It wouldn't be WWE if we would be saying, yeah, it could be better. But, I actually enjoyed all shows this week. Surprisingly, I did not think that I was going to enjoy all the shows, but I ended up enjoying them. Now, I'm not sure if that's just me. I'm not sure if that's just my excitement. I'm not just sure it's me being a bit more positive, mainly because Nakamura won the Rumble. Because trust me, that really got me happy. I was extremely pleased with that. But I enjoyed all the shows. So, we're going to get straight into the weekly show reviews. So, Jonathan Coachman, he's back on commentary. He's decent. I don't mind him. So, Stephanie McMahon kicked off the show. She introduced Asuka. She announced that there will be an all-women's Elimination Chamber match. Interesting to see how that plays out at Elimination Chamber on February 25th. In comes Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks interrupts this whole confrontation and challenges Asuka to a match in which Stephanie McMahon makes official. And it ended up being a great match. So, then we go into Braun Strowman versus Kane in a last man standing match. And it was also an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Braun Strowman. We all knew Braun Strowman was great already. But now, they have Braun Strowman flipping the announce table. Not just the table. The stage in which the announce table rests on. He flipped it over onto Kane. To win the last man standing match in barely 6 minutes. Barely 6 minutes, and he moves on to the chamber. I think they booked that perfectly. Thank God Kane is off of TV. He offers no relevance. Go back to running for mayor of Tennessee. Then we move into Elias versus Matt Hardy in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. It turned out to be a decent match, I'm not going to lie. I really like Elias, as you can tell. I really love Matt Hardy. And Matt Hardy lost because Bray Wyatt's video, Bray Wyatt's little package popped up on screen. Matt Hardy was distracted. Elias hit drift away to advance to the chamber. And then Wyatt was up on the Titantron and he just laughed at Matt Hardy. So I'm actually going to call Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt to fight at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I think that would be a nice addition to the pay-per-view itself. Then Roman Reigns invoked his rematch clause for the Intercontinental Championship. And The Miz beat him. The Miz defeated Roman Reigns in a great match. Now, let me tell you something. I never, ever, ever discredit the wrestling ability of anyone. It always comes down to the booking. I always say, with every single show that WWE puts on, the booking always makes or breaks the show. Now, we all know that Roman Reigns is heading towards his match with Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. But why did he have to drop it to The Miz? I'm telling you right now. I like The Miz's promo work, but the man has been doing the same thing for the past 10 years. He's exactly like Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has been doing the same thing for how long now? Miz has been doing it even longer. Cheating to win. Cheating to win with a handful of tights, feet on the ropes, thumb to the eye, Miz Taraj, Maurice. And every single Miz feud is the same exact thing. Starts the feud on Miz TV, loses the Intercontinental Championship, wins it back, repeat. Put that on a t-shirt and sell it. But I'm not going to get too bent out of shape over that. So, Miz defeated Roman Reigns in a great match, and I really hope that The Miz goes into a match with Finn Balor at the Elimination Chamber and Finn Balor wins. I would love to see that match. The Revival defeated Heath Slater and Rhino. That basically did what it needed to do. Congratulations to the Dudley Boys. They are getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Well deserved. Asuka defeated Sasha Banks in a great match. And now let me tell you something. It started off slow. It picked up very quickly. There was a spot midway through the match where Sasha Banks went for a suicide dive and Asuka caught her with a roundhouse kick. And Sasha Banks landed hard. She landed hard on the concrete floor. I actually thought she might have been legitimately injured. Then we had Sasha Banks doing double knees off the apron to the floor on Asuka. Sasha went for the Banks statement, and it was reversed into the Asuka lock. And Asuka wins. A great match. That could have been the match at WrestleMania. I'm just saying. But I actually think that Nia Jax is going to win the Elimination Chamber. Then we move into the part of the show in which I was really invested in, even though not a lot of people were. Titus Worldwide versus The Bar in a Raw Tag Team Championship match. The Bar have held the titles for a year now. They've been in the tag team title scene for a year. They've been champions 4 damn times. 4 times. How many times does The Bar need to be champions? The Bar do not need the titles in order to remain relevant. There are very few people in the WWE that do not need titles to remain relevant, but they deserve titles. Cena does not need a title to remain relevant. The Miz doesn't need a title to remain relevant. The Bar do not need a title to remain relevant. Roman doesn't need a title to remain relevant. Lesnar doesn't need a title to remain relevant. But why do they have these titles? I don't get it. I really don't get it. This actually turned into a decent match. I like this match, and I hope Titus Worldwide maintains the momentum and gets the titles in the future. They were defeated by The Bar, but they had a very good showing. Apollo Crews, very good showing near the end, where Apollo did like a Hurricane Rana, but it was reversed into a powerbomb by Sheamus. And we thought they had it won here. Sheamus took out Titus, and they won with the assisted white noise, and that was it. The Bar retained the tag team titles in a decent match. Then we had John Cena defeating Finn Balor in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Why? Who booked this? Who booked Cena to beat Balor? Cena's already going to be at Fastlane. Why does he need to be in the Elimination Chamber? If Finn Balor does not go into an Intercontinental Championship program with The Miz in the future, then this was absolutely by far the worst decision WWE has made thus WrestleMania season. Ever since this WrestleMania season started at the Rumble, I was excited, I was happy, but this was a terrible decision. Finn Balor lasted nearly an hour in the Royal Rumble, and then you have him lose to Cena. Cena has been putting over talent for the last however many years, the last 3 years, and now you choose this match, of all matches, to have Cena get a win, where he doesn't need it. This free agent thing shouldn't even have happened, period. This free agent thing should not even be a thing, because it's violating the rules of the draft. Who cares if Cena's on both shows? He should just be on SmackDown. Finn Balor needs to go into an Intercontinental Championship program with The Miz, or else this is a complete waste of time. I don't care for this. I do not care for Cena. I want to see better for Balor. All in all, Raw was decent. I'm not saying it was great, but it was more than just a 2-3 highlight show. Moving on to SmackDown Live, Nakamura kicked off the show. Cammy interrupted, basically stated that Nakamura will be facing one of them, not Styles. Styles came out, and a tag team match was made for the main event. And interestingly, Daniel Bryan made a match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Yes, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens next week on SmackDown, and the winner will get an opportunity at AJ Styles at Fastlane pay-per-view on March 11th. I like that move. Very interesting. Then we get to the Fatal 4-Way match. A Fatal 4-Way match to determine the number one contender for the United States Championship. I like this very much. I very much enjoyed this. This was one of the highlights of SmackDown for me. And I was actually pulling for either Rusev or Zack Ryder. And sure enough, Rusev came out victorious. He won a very good Fatal 4-Way match. So it will now be Rude versus Rusev for the United States Championship next week. SmackDown next week is looking big. SmackDown is looking very big. The Usos cut a promo, basically talked about the struggles through life. I love when the Usos cut a promo. Usos are without a doubt one of the top three, I would say. One of the top three, if not the top guys. No disrespect to the Revival, but they are the top guys in the WWE, and they can cut the best promo. When it comes to promos, Usos very well might be number one. Interestingly enough, they said no tag team can take them on, and the Bludgeon Brothers came out. I was actually expecting the Bludgeon Brothers to come out. I was expecting the Bludgeon Brothers, and they damn sure came out, but they had no contact with the Usos. They didn't even look at the Usos. The Usos stared them down. Now, let me tell you something. If the tag team matches that these four guys had back in 2014 were great, you can imagine that at Fastlane and or WrestleMania, that the match that they are going to have in the future will be even better. I guarantee you, the matches that the Bludgeon Brothers and the Usos will have in the future are going to blow away the SmackDown Tag Team division. It's going to be good. And then the Bludgeon Brothers, they just destroyed some little turds. That was basically that. Obviously, I was expecting that. Daniel Bryan then announced the SmackDown Top 10 list. This was actually interesting. I don't know where they're going with this. I'm not really sure how it's going to affect SmackDown Live as a whole, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Charlotte cut a promo, and interestingly enough, the Riot Squad actually came out. Surprise, surprise, they're still together after the Rumble. Ruby Riott, I'm assuming, is going into a SmackDown Women's Championship program with Charlotte at Fastlane. I really don't see anyone else, because Becky versus Charlotte is the money match for the SmackDown Women's division at WrestleMania. They attacked Charlotte, and I legitimately thought that Carmella was going to cash in. I legitimately thought that would have been it. I thought that Carmella was going to cash in, and Carmella was going to defeat Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Then, she accidentally knocked the ref out, and at this rate, I'm thinking, oh my god, they're going to do a Baron Corbin. But, it was not to be. Carmella took the contract back, and that was that. Just teasing it. Baron Corbin then defeated Ty Dillinger. It was a decent match. And I actually have a prediction for one of these two. I predict it will either be Baron Corbin or Ty Dillinger that's going to be challenging Bobby Roode for the United States Championship at Fastlane. I think most likely Corbin, because Corbin never got his automatic rematch clause after Dolph defeated him and Roode at Clash Champions. Benjamin and Gable defeated Breezango. That was that. Nakamura and Styles then defeated Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn walked off. He walked off on Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn said this is his opportunity and he will be going to Fastlane. Already building the tension, Cammy has dissolved right before our very eyes. And Sami Zayn, he's fully focused in winning the match against Kevin Owens next week. Can't wait to see that match. All in all, I enjoyed SmackDown more than Raw. Very good show was SmackDown. On to 205 Live. Now, 205 Live, this show was perhaps better than the show that was put on last week. This show was great for 205 Live. And interestingly enough, I was very, 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 very pleased with this announcement. Rockstar Spud, man. Otherwise known as Drake Maverick. So he's going by Drake Maverick. I'm not really sure why he's going by Drake Maverick, but we all know he's Rockstar Spud. Rockstar Spud, aka Drake Maverick, is the new 205 Live GM, and he announced exactly what I said they should have announced. A 16-man tournament to determine the new Cruiserweight Champion, which will culminate at WrestleMania. That was the best decision that they could have gone with. And we had two great matches. Cedric Alexander defeated Gran Metalik in a great match in the first round. And then we had TJP defeating Tyler Bate in a great Cruiserweight match. This cruiserweight match could very well have rivaled Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander, and even Mustafa Ali and Drew Gulak. TJP and Tyler Bate, they have great in-ring chemistry. Tyler Bate, we all know, he's a wrestling wizard based on his match with Pete Dunne. Now we did it again with TJP. 2 great matches, 2 people advance. Next week, we got Lince Dorado versus Kalisto. That's going to be a good one. And Hideo Itami versus Roderick Strong. If the match that Hideo and Strong had in NXT earlier in 2017 was good, this is going to be even better. Can't wait to see those 2 matches. And by the way, you've heard it here first. You heard it here first. At WrestleMania, it will be Hideo Itami versus Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight Championship. That is the money match for the Cruiserweight division at WrestleMania. Great show was 205 Live. Then we move on to NXT. NXT was live from Philly. They taped it from Philly last Saturday. Nikki Cross defeated Lacey Evans. The Philly crowd made it even better, even though it didn't even go that long. That's the power that Philly has. That was that. Nikki Cross defeated Lacey Evans. It was announced that for next week on NXT, the Undisputed Era will face Sanity, and Sanity will get their automatic NXT Championship, or NXT Tag Team Championship rematch clause. Can't wait to see that match. Then, TM61. I've wanted TM61 back for a long, long time now, and I am glad that they're back. TM61 defeated the Ely brothers in a very fun match. It was a fun match for what it was. Even though it was meant to be a squash match, it was a very fun match. And I can definitely see TM61 facing off against the Undisputed Era at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. They're not going to win, but I have a feeling that it would be a nice addition to the show. TM61 will be NXT Tag Team Champions one day. But I don't really think it's going to be at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. I think they are going to give that to the Street Profits at NXT TakeOver Chicago too. Yes, NXT is coming back to Chicago the night before Money in the Bank, which is a co-branded pay-per-view. Then, in a great match, a very hard-hitting match, Roderick Strong defeated Tyler Bate in a United Kingdom Championship #1 contenders match. And if there is anyone who can take the title off of Pete Dunne, I would call Roderick Strong. Pete Dunne has held that championship for almost 300 days. I think Roderick Strong would be a perfect candidate for the United Kingdom Championship. If you put Roderick Strong versus Pete Dunne at NXT TakeOver New Orleans for the United Kingdom Championship, that could very well steal the show. Never mind an Aleister Black or an Andrade Cien Almas. Never mind a War Machine versus AOP. Pete Dunne is Pete Dunne. He's great in his entirety. Roderick Strong is without a doubt one of the top workhorses in NXT. You put those two together, it equals great match no matter how you look at it. Great show for NXT. Now, moving on to the news, rumors, and reports. So I actually got a report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Oh, speaking of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, if you do not know, yes, Dave Meltzer rated Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almas at TakeOver Philadelphia 5 stars. Well deserved. So according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the plans for Ronda Rousey are for her to face Triple H and Stephanie McMahon at WrestleMania 34, with Ronda Rousey having the ability to choose a partner for the match. Now, there have been some reports going around. Some reports say The Rock, some reports say Braun Strowman, but I'm actually going to go with Kurt Angle, judging by the beef that Triple H and Kurt Angle had like a few months back at the Survivor Series. That would be the most logical decision. I don't know if they're going to go that route, but I think that would be a very good match. It should be a nice addition to WrestleMania 34. Next, I got a few shout outs to Mr. Slice Wrestling. If you do not know, follow him at Slice Wrestling. So, I got 2 tweets from him, and I quote the first tweet. Finn Balor versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship is being discussed as one of the possibilities to take place at WrestleMania. I actually proposed it should have been taking place at the Elimination Chamber. But if they want to drag this out, if they really want to drag it out all the way to WrestleMania, I'm all for it. I am all for it. But then it kind of raises a question, because originally everyone was talking about the plans for Braun Strowman versus The Miz, in which I thought would have been a squash match, and Braun Strowman would walk out Intercontinental Champion. But Finn Balor, I think, is the best decision. Finn Balor is the best decision. But where does Braun go? Where does Braun go? I mean, if you're thinking about this right now, you're thinking to yourself, why didn't WWE give the title to Braun Strowman back at No Mercy? That would have been the best time to. They would have given the title to Braun Strowman. He could have held the title to the Royal Rumble. Then you could have given it to Reigns there. You could have given it to Reigns then, rather than having main event WrestleMania, challenging for the championship in a match that no one wants to see against Lesnar. Lesnar could go up against Samoa Joe. Lesnar should have dropped the title to Samoa Joe back at Great Balls of Fire to begin with. Then Samoa Joe should have dropped the title to Roman Reigns at WWE TLC. Samoa Joe should have dropped the title to Roman at TLC. Then Roman could have held the title all the way to WrestleMania, in which Braun Strowman walks out of WrestleMania with the Universal Championship, because Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns put on one of the best damn feuds of 2017. That would have been the perfect culmination of a feud. Perfect culmination. Never mind an ambulance match. I would have rather seen Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship rather than in an ambulance match. Which I think we are going to get that. I think we are definitely going to get Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship after Roman wins the title at Mania. But why do we have to go through a main event that no one wants to see? A main event that's going to bore all of us to death? Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that, because it should be a decent match. But then again, we've seen it before, number one. Number two, Roman Reigns does not belong in the main event of WrestleMania. It should be AJ Styles and Nakamura, which I hope that's what they're going with. 3, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, he's Brock Lesnar. I mean, like, I realize what I'm saying, but then again, Brock Lesnar really hasn't given us any reason to, get behind anything that he does. It's predictable. It's really predictable with Lesnar and Roman Reigns. This is Vince McMahon's initiative. That's why I say that Vince McMahon, that's why I say that Roman Reigns is riding the Vince McMahon dick train to WrestleMania. I say it because that's 100% true. This was set in stone. This match was set in stone before WrestleMania 33 even took place. I'm all for having long-term booking plans, but why does it only have to be with Roman? I'm telling you, it would have been such a better idea to give the title to Joe. Then he drops it to Roman. Then Roman drops it to Strowman. Then you could have built to Strowman versus Balor at SummerSlam. Excuse me, I almost said WrestleMania. You could have built to Strowman and Balor at SummerSlam. You could have made Finn Balor a Daniel Bryan figure. You have that in Gargano now, but I'm saying you could have done that with Balor as well. So I actually hope Finn Balor wins the Intercontinental Championship from The Miz, whether it be at Elimination Chamber or at WrestleMania. And the second tweet that I have from Slice of Wrestling, and I quote, Chris Jericho is possibly returning to WWE for another run in late 2018, likely around SummerSlam. I am very excited to see if this is true. I think Chris Jericho could spice up WWE in 2018. I think Chris Jericho would be able to put on some great matches, no matter what show he's on, whether he's on Raw or SmackDown. I realize he got put on SmackDown mainly because he won the title from Owens, but there's always a chance he could return on Raw. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Chris Jericho does in 2018. Now, moving on to some Elimination Chamber plans. According to Cage Side Seats, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Jason Jordan are all expected to be in Elimination Chamber qualifying matches next week on Raw. Now, I do not know if they are going to be in separate qualifying matches or if they are going to be in qualifying matches against each other. That remains to be seen. I really don't know what WWE is going with as far as the qualifying matches. We all know Roman Reigns is going to get into there. We all know Roman Reigns is going into the chamber, but who does he face? If you're asking me, those are the three biggest stars that you can put into the chamber, but you're having qualifying matches. Those are the three biggest stars that you could have face each other. But if they're going to be in qualifying matches, if they're not facing each other, who are they going to face? It doesn't really make too much sense. But we'll see how that plays out. We will see how that plays out. And my final report of the day is from PW Insider. Apparently, PW Insider is reporting that the plan for Asuka is to have her face Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Now, if Alexa Bliss still had the championship coming out of SummerSlam, I may or may not have agreed with this decision. Alexa Bliss dropped the title to Sasha Banks at SummerSlam, only for Sasha to lose it 9 days later. In a terribly booked match, by the way. Match was okay. The booking decision was terrible. Sasha Banks should have never lost the championship. I'm sorry. Sasha Banks should have never lost the Raw Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss has had her time with the Raw Women's Championship. She should have never became a 2-time champion. Alexa Bliss should not leave Elimination Chamber with the Raw Women's Championship. She hasn't defended it since October. She's basically become a female Brock Lesnar. This whole women's Royal Rumble thing threw everything out of whack for her. Same thing with Charlotte. Charlotte hasn't defended the championship since Clash of Champions. Why not just book some title matches now? Why wait till the chamber? Or why did you give the title to Alexa Bliss, period? Why did you give the title to her? Alexa Bliss has done absolutely nothing to elevate the Raw Women's Championship. I'm not saying that Sasha has done anything to elevate it, but then again, Sasha was never given a proper run with it. She's a 4-time women's champion, and she has no successful title defenses underneath her belt. What is the initiative with Alexa Bliss? She's held the title since August 28th. She's held the title since August 28th, and I still have not seen anything from Alexa Bliss that has really excited me. After she lost the Raw Women's Championship to Sasha Banks, that should have been it. Her role before SummerSlam was okay. It was good and it was needed. But after SummerSlam, that's it. She outlived her usefulness as the Raw Women's Champion. Sasha Banks should have held the Raw Women's Championship till December. Then you could have given it to Nia Jax, and Nia Jax could have held the championship all the way to WrestleMania, in which you put Asuka into that position. Asuka defeats the biggest and the strongest women in that division to win the Raw Women's Championship. You had Asuka versus Nia Jax at NXT TakeOver The End. What's stopping you from putting that at WrestleMania? I'm telling you right now. I'm really telling you right now. Alexa Bliss cannot leave Elimination Chamber with the Raw Women's Championship. She's basically turned into a combination of Lesnar and Mahal. And I don't say that about everyone. I do not say that about everyone. But Alexa Bliss has really gone downhill. The Alexa Bliss that was on SmackDown Live and when she first got on Raw is downgraded. She's been flushed down the toilet. With the way things are going right now, I really do not see Alexa Bliss walking out of the Elimination Chamber with the Raw Women's Championship. I see either one of three people doing that. One obviously being Nia Jax, two obviously being Sasha Banks, and Bayley. Obviously, they could do Mickie James versus Asuka. They had a great match at NXT TakeOver Toronto, but with the way that Mickie James has been booked, I don't see that happening. The champions on Raw, they've really gone downhill. The Bar, we've seen them in the tag team title picture for an entire damn year. No one cares about them. Get the Revival in there. Get the Club in there. Get Titus Worldwide in there. Alexa Bliss should not even be Raw Women's Champion. The Miz, 8 times Intercontinental Champion. 8 times I have not cared. He does not deserve the Intercontinental Championship. Get him away from the Intercontinental Championship. Put him in the World title picture. Put him in the Tag Team title picture with the Miz Taraj. Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. He's only keeping that title around his waist to drop it to Roman Reigns. Because Roman Reigns is riding the Vince McMahon dick train to WrestleMania to take the title off of Lesnar. Simple. That's why I prefer the SmackDown champions over the Raw champions. But before I get too bent out of shape, before a vein pops into my head, I'm going to tell you that that wraps up the Lightning Flash update. I would like to thank each and every one of you who tuned into this video. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TheDJStorms. Do not forget to check out the Lightning Flash update next week. Do not forget to check out the rundown for the Royal Rumble if you missed it. That's up on the channel right now. And do not forget to check out the rundown for the Raw brand exclusive pay-per-view Elimination Chamber, which I will be putting up on February 24th, 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. Thank you for joining me here on the Lightning Flash update. You have a great weekend.